Welcome to the channel, Farm with Nick. Thanks so much for joining me here on Louisiana map. And this is a farm build and more or less a tour that I'm going to give you. And just double checking my route as I'm kind of driving out of town. And this is a farm build I actually did from scratch. And I'm actually going to give you a tour of it. Kind of give you an idea of all the buildings I put in, and then kind of do a final flyover at the end. So I'm kind of driving out to these fields, and I'm going to show you where the build is at here. And it's out of town. It's kind of closer out to where the actual starting farm is. So I'm just going to pull the truck here off to the side, and here are our fields, or our two fields, I should say. So let me show you where I'm at in the map, if you've played on the Louisiana map. And this was actually requested by actually two separate subscribers to the channel at different times, asking me to do a build here on Louisiana. And I said, absolutely, just give me some time. And finally got a chance to sit down and make a build, and I really am happy with how it turned out. So on the Louisiana map, here is a town, and here is the starting farm, which I really do like the central location of it. The starting farm here is kind of in the middle, and you have some ponds, and then it kind of wraps this way. So it's kind of a longer farm and kind of spread out. Now my farm, I did it on these two fields, which is actually just one field. So it's right here on field 25, and it extends all the way to the end of field 25, kind of going into 26 here, and then goes all the way and kind of, is kept in by the creek here that goes around, and basically used all this nice open area here, and some extra corn stalks, and used all this extra open area here as well. But I did keep this main road and drive kind of cutting through, and you'll see that here in the tour here in a second. So the request was made by two different channel members, like I said, and they both actually had the same request to do water buffalo. So I put this farm build together, and like I said, it kind of spans this whole little area here, and uses water buffalo. I did add a couple other animals that you'll see as well. So I'm going to take it from this into this. So welcome to my farm here on Louisiana. So like I said, it spans most of this area, and all built from scratch. It was just a lot of fun kind of playing around with it. So let me hop in the pickup truck here, take you guys for a drive around here, and then I will kind of go through the buildings, and then also I will go through and do a flyover at the end. So as you're kind of pulling up to the farm, let me kind of go backwards a little bit. There's that drive that I told you about that cut through the field. So I maintained that from the original. And let me go this way just so you can kind of see what it looks like as you drive up to the farm now. And now I'll just do a loop around. So as you come up to the farm, you'll come up to a very large cold storage, or if you have power, probably have power now, but a workshop, main building that you would actually keep all your equipment in, and it is just massive. So that's the first thing that you would come up to, and it's the 3 Stars Garage mod there, but really cool. So that is right off of the bat and right off of the road right there. And then as you continue, you have quite a large pond you have your farmhouse, then you have another pole barn, you have like your main barn right off of the drive, and then to the right of me is all like the barnyard area. So all of the water buffalo, like I said on this build, it's all located on that right side. So house and like your workshop and your main storage is all on the left, and then everything else is on the right. So I really like how this all turned out, and I'm just kind of driving back, and this kind of just goes all the way to the back here, and look at this, this is so cool. All the water comes right over the drive here, and then you're almost back if you take this drive all the way back to the starting farm. So the location is like really kind of nice. I like how it is central enough to the main farm, and it's central enough of a location to town as well. And then you're right in the middle of the map, you know, as well. Like you're really kind of close enough to get to anywhere. So let's start by the house first. So I want to show you a lot of cool things I put on this map. And first you have your main pole barn right here, and this one is just off of the house, and this one also is a workshop, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is. So you can put things in here, have a workshop trigger for equipment and everything, so very handy to have that. And then I'm just gonna run over here. So off to the side we have our dog over here, and then the barn kind of backs up here to the garage. And then if you kind of just go through here, and this is like the main backyard over here. And then I also put a lot of extra decorations. So you have like your little cookout area, pool area, gazebo, got the camper ready, got some volleyball in the back, some swings, and then you have a new mod to me, which I think is really cool. You have a nice like open garden area, and a lot of the stuff that you grow here, I did put a little kiosk out front if you saw that as I was driving by. So you can sell all that here. And then I did put in another little garage here, and kind of acted like this would be my like garden slash like pond, you know, maybe like kind of shed where you can put things. This mod is really cool. If you don't know, you can actually store like your chainsaw, little sprays, brush up there. So that's kind of cool. And on my other playthrough series, I am using that. And then you can also just get in this way too. So cool little barn. But I thought I'd put that off to the side. Alright. And let's run back through here. And let's go back. Let's go to the front here. There's our dog. So here's the front of the house, kind of facing the road. And I put a nice large pond in, kind of simulating, you know, I had to take a lot of fill dirt to get the buildings in. And then I also put in like some like little water lily pad features, which is new to me as well, but kind of like the touch and the look on this map. I think it looks really nice. All right, and let's run back over here. You can hear the frogs croaking. To our pickup. Now let's go just behind this pole barn. So I have a nice big fuel tank here. I have a buying station right there as well. This next building, and you could use it either way. You could use this as storage and just parking equipment or a combine in here, or you could use this, what it is intended for. It's actually a manure storage as well. So you're going to get a lot of manure probably from all the water buffalo that you're going to have on this build. So I figured you could put that over here and just store it in the meantime instead of just, you know, trying to get it on the fields right away. And then back here, kind of saw it when I drove by, just have another little shed back here. There's a light there as well. Some decorations, and then we'll start on the other side of the row. So we got a chicken coop here, and on the inside of this trigger, I did paint dirt, you know, to simulate the mud. And that's really what it should be. Really quick, I'll just show you. And every time though, and this is not because of like the Louisiana map per se, this is just, I think, the mod itself. So let me get the trigger here. There it is. And where am I at? Alright, so really it should look, you know, the inside of that chicken coop should be this, unless you're letting them out and free ranging, you know, that should be like this, you know, just straight up dirt on the inside. However, with this chicken coop mod, it always takes away the mud, and then it adds in the grass every time. So that's why I don't really mess around with it, but to stage it, it looks better like that. I agree, 100%. Alright, we'll come back that way. So right here is a blue fermenting silo. So that's what I would use on this for chaff and everything. And then we have another barn here. Now this does have storage on it. You can see the pipes there, so you can store your hay and grass in there if you want. There's a little kiosk up here for selling your vegetables and other stuff from that garden that I put in. And then going this way, now this is the main buffalo barn, and I'll show you that in a second. Just kind of do a quick drive-by. This one in the middle here is my calf barn. Have another set of multi-fruit silos for these blue ones. And then back here is another barn, and this is my heifer barn. I'll show you that in a second, show you some of the triggers. And then we have another little like lean-to shed barn right here. And then like right behind me, I'm kind of going quick. Behind me I have like a manure pit, and there's another one on the opposite side there. You can see there, kind of behind us, just another manure pit. That's for the calves. And then I have another silo here, just as an extension to those other ones, just if you needed more. And then I have, going this way, have a corn crib for the farm. Have a bale shed here as well, if that's what you're up to, and doing some baling. Another little buying station, and then that loops around back this way, and this is the next thing I want to show you. So this is actually a mod, and it looks really cool, but it's a mod for refrigerated products. So the idea was, in placing this in over there with all the buffalo, you're going to get a lot of buffalo milk. So I thought it'd be fun to kind of simulate in here, and you could place in this refrigerated area, you could place all your buffalo milk, especially if you had a lot and you didn't want to drive it into town to sell. You could store your milk up here. So that is really kind of neat, new mod that I just picked up. I think this in here, yes, you can go in here. Oops, I have to fix some of the leveling in there. That looks bad. Yeah, I'll fix that. It was kind of set off by this corner, and so I raised it up, but yeah, that's an easy fix to go into the leveling and lower that down. I'll do that later. All right, let's continue with the tour. So going back to the barns in particular. So with this main barn here, now the main feed, this one actually has a robot that you can feed, so you can put everything in here, and it is labeled if you put the labels on, and then if you just walk up, it should give it to me. There it is. So you got your hay, straw, and your silage, and then you can dump all that here. So I did that, just kind of playing around with this, but then also in here you can add your stuff in here as well, and then it's got like, this is a storage as well. So you can see, if you noticed, like over here is like a little trigger to store things, and there's the storage. So you can see the food. I just kind of was practicing. You can store other things, but I just put some food right there, so that's where it's storing it. It should be obviously up over the floor, but it's storing it that way. But then you can come over here and you can get that out of storage, and then it'll place it over here for you to use. But let's go over this way. So it's got that feeding robot, like I said. You can feed them that way, or you can come over this way, and the feed trigger, now it does not show up on the little indicator, but after playing around with it, the feed trigger is in here, and then you can put your TMR over this way. So that's where you get your trigger, and then that kind of loops around this way, and inside there is your trigger for straw, if I'm not mistaken. And I was playing around with that, and then that kind of leads out this way back to the road. So if you keep going off that drive, instead of going towards the house, you'll come up to this area. So not too bad. I like how there's the extra access. When I first did the build, I did not do this extra little drive here that I'm going on right now, but to get the wagons through and your feed, obviously definitely you would be coming this way. And then you can see over there in the background, the buffalo go quite a bit over that way, and I'll show you that here towards the end when we do our flyover. So there is the Louisiana map. Another couple things about these other barns, just to kind of show you if you're interested in them. You have some storage up here on this heifer barn, which is really cool. So you can get up here, store things. The triggers for this barn to feed are in here, so you do have to back up with your wagon, and that's where I was just kind of playing around with this gravity wagon. And so you back it up into there, and then these are our water buffalo, the heifers over here, like I said. And then the last barn over here in the middle of the farm, which I think this all turned out really well. The triggers are actually in here. So you'll notice I have my trailer parked in here. The triggers for feed are right here by this door. So to get through here, you have to open these up, and then you can just kind of drive through here. But then this is our calf barn right here, kind of simulating that. And then the calves are right in the middle of the build here in the smaller barn. So yeah, pretty cool. And then there's their TMR right there in the middle that you can use. And then this off to the side, I think this is like a little storage. Yeah, little workshop storage. So that's kind of neat. Alright, close this up. But that's pretty cool to have the barnyard kind of consolidated and kind of close, and it's all kind of strategically placed together here, which absolutely, yes, it did take some time if you were wondering how to get that layout nice and neat. But I think it turned out really well, and keeping like the animals and the barnyard, like I said, on the right side of the farm here, and like with that refrigeration barn over here. I really like how all of that kind of worked out, and then to have, you know, your main storage on the other side of the pond, you know, another big pole barn over there, so all your equipment then can kind of stay on this left side of the farm. So I really like how all that turned out. So next, let me get in the build mode, and if you want to pause at any time, go for it. So just to show you the buildings quick. So the first one is the metal garage with workshop. I thought it was called 3 stars. Might have been, or they changed it, but hence by the 3 stars. But yeah, cool barn. I actually used this, I think, on the Frankenmuth farm build that I did. So check that one out. But yeah, kind of nice to have that back in. And I like how you can get access this way to the road. And then just put a pond here, like I said, put some decorations. And then we have just the regular farmhouse, and it's the bigger one for FS25 with the attached little garage there. And then this small garage is one I used on my Alma build, and it's called garage, but it actually comes with a whole like farmhouse pack. So you won't find it by itself. It's actually in a pack, and then you can get that. And then this is a open garden. Now there's a bunch of other gardens that you can get, but I placed this one. It comes with like that little tree, all the extra little decorations. That was all part of it. So it looks really cool. I like how it turned out, and it's nice to have something a little bit different and unique to this build right by the house. And then a bunch, like I said, of decorations, little play area, patio set, volleyball. A lot of fun back here. And then we have the garage with workshop trigger over there. This was the manure heap, which you could use as manure or just storage. And then a small old wooden garage, and this is part of like the old barn pack if you're looking for that particular barn. And then this is just the white chicken coop. And then this one is a mod on its own. It's called refrigerated hanger. So look for that. And that's very interesting and would be really fun to kind of play around with if you're getting all that buffalo milk, like I said. And then I have a large steel silo, and that is for mixing and getting your fermenting and your chaff into silage. And then I have a bale and pallet storage building there. I have 2 of these little buying stations, and then the corn crib right here. And then I have another buying station off to the side, fuel tank, and then this is a little trigger for water. And then the main red barn here, and this is the American barn with hayloft. That way you can place extra hay and all that good stuff up there. And then let's go this way. We have the cow barn with feeding robot, and then followed by the calf one that I'm using, and it's called Old Cow Barn. And all of these cow barns, they're really nice how you can customize the fences there. So all these have the customized kind of fields. And this is the old small shelter there. And then followed by this one, it's the steel multi-fruit silo, the double one there. And if you didn't have enough, I did place the extension over here. So this is just extension middle. Some decorations behind there. And then the heifer barn right here. It's called Old Cow Barn as well. And just look for the ones that kind of have like the brick on them, the brick detail. And then same thing, this fence just kind of loops behind this tree line, kind of still tucked inside of that creek. And then loops back up around here. And then the cow, the main cow barn, has a nice big pasture as well. And this pasture follows the road all the way down, and it kind of ties into this other barn, this like really massive cow barn over here. Huge field. So where is it? Right here. And I just took it to the end of that field and then just looped it back that way. So a huge meadow for the main cattle barn over here for your water buffalo. And then that loops up this way. So there you go. And I'll do just a flyover for you guys so you guys can see. But yeah, I am really happy with this this build. I'm really happy how it turned out in particular, and I'm really enjoying kind of doing some of these builds. And thank you so much for the ideas and the suggestions to the subscribers. Great idea. So kind of just give you a quick little layout again. So here is the starting farm. I'm looking out that way towards the ponds, and like I said, it is kind of spaced out, how it kind of loops all the way back to the road there where that school bus is kind of driving. But yeah, I decided I kind of liked this little area, how it was centrally located, and I did keep that other little house right there. I didn't want to take that away, but then I liked this area after kind of playing around with a couple different spots on the map. I like this area, and I like how it is centrally located, like I said, but not too far from town. So you just drive out this main drag that you saw that we did together in the very beginning, and then really you're in town. So if you are doing some productions, if you're doing some stuff with the buffalo milk, further on down the line with not just doing the dairy with the milk, you're really not that far to drive into town. So the last little bit here, I'll kind of just do a little flyover here, but you can kind of see it's an expansive farm, but at the same time, I like how the barnyard here is really kind of condensed, and everything kind of just fits in here as well. So really turned out well, and thank you again to those 2 subscribers that mentioned, oh, you should do a build here on Louisiana. So all right, thank you so much for joining me. If you are new to the channel, I'd love to have you join the Farming with Nick community. Check out my other builds, and also check out some of my other playthrough series. Let me know what you think, and let me know what you think about this one in particular. So thank you so much for watching and tuning in here on Louisiana. So hope you guys have a good one, and thank you so much again. Take care.